Good morning. This is Dylan Jovine from Behind the Markets. Happy Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, March 11th. What a great day it is to be alive. And today I want to talk to you about the turmoil that we've experienced in the markets. And it all has to do with really one thing. It's impossible to understand the turmoil in the markets, what's been happening, how we've been very hostile, capricious really to our European allies, why we started a trade war with Canada and Mexico. It's impossible to understand all these disparate things without understanding the central role that China plays in all of this. Remember, Chinese President Xi Jinping told his military to be prepared to invade Taiwan by 2027. They are preparing for war. This is not just my opinion. U.S. Admiral Sam Paparo, the head of Indo-Pacific Command, has been sounding a lot like Winston Churchill when he was warning about Hitler and Germany. He's been saying to everybody in speeches, look, these guys are not just running war game simulations. They are running complete, full simulations with all of their assets, biggest simulations in history, preparing for an invasion of Taiwan. That is a big thing. He also said we need a, quote, full of government approach to dissuade them from doing it. And right now, we don't have enough hard assets and power in the Indo-Pacific to do that. What does that mean? How is that affecting Trump's policy? Number one, Trump has been pulling out of Europe as quickly as possible, basically pushing them to handle their own defense as we pivot and switch assets to deal with the threat in the Indo-Pacific. That's the first thing you got to understand. That's why he's been just saying, look, you guys got to handle this. We got to cover it over here. That's number one. Number two, we've been doing this trade war with Canada and Mexico. Now, a lot of folks say, why would we do a trade war with Canada and Mexico in North America when Trump himself renegotiated NAFTA in 2019 and called it the greatest deal ever? Here's why. We put on tariffs on China. So what did China do to counter or get around our tariffs? So any imports that came from China would face extra tariffs. So China went around that by building factories in Mexico and Canada. So what we're trying to do is put pressure on Canada and Mexico to actually form one block with us where we actually, in a way, take control of their foreign trade. So we actually push them to not allow Chinese factories on their property. Okay, that's a very big ask because China's been getting around our tariffs by doing that. So that's a very big deal. Remember, Canada and Mexico, they sell about $60 billion worth of goods into China themselves. They got their own foreign policy, trade policy, et cetera. So that's a very big risk. So that's the second reason that Trump has been doing that. The second way that Trump is trying to dissuade China. He's trying to unify all of us, then go to China and say, look, we will give you access, but you can't invade Taiwan. You can't do this. This is a grand bargain that people have been talking about. Some kind of grand bargain. But you need to push your military assets there. You need to guard your flank on trade so you can actually go to China and say, we have leverage. We're combining to form leverage to push back. The third way Trump is dealing with China is the Iron Dome, of course. As we've talked about here, we actually want to dissuade China. We don't want a war with China. We want to dissuade them. And one way to dissuade them is to get the strategic high ground. So we create a disincentive for them. Now, if we say we could punch you in the teeth by hitting sites all over China, but you can't punch us back in the teeth because we have a missile shield, the Iron Dome, we regain the strategic advantage. Very important in warfare, obviously, to have the high ground. It gives us the high ground. So a lot of these policies that Trump is doing seem unreasonable. They seem illogical. They're whipsaw. We're going left. We're going right. But it really is. You have to put it in the context of China and what we're doing to deal with China, how we're getting ready to deal with China. This is the three-pronged strategy. Military resources, more in the Pacific, better trade, lock down our trade here so we can push back against China in a united front way, and finally, protect our homeland with a missile defense shield. Now, we're going to be talking about, now this market's gotten knocked on the face a little bit. It's down. There's one area that's been doing pretty well. That is defense. It's definitely a port in the storm. Some defense stocks have just been killing it. And we're going to bring you behind the scenes and explain the best opportunities in the Iron Dome missile defense shield that Trump has ordered Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth to have ready a plan for implementation by March 26th. That's less than 2 weeks away. He has ordered his Secretary of Defense to have that ready. So this is a big deal. It is going to be tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Make sure you join us because we're going to really go behind the scenes and talk about what this looks like. Remember the advantage that we have over most folks. By the time, and why this is time sensitive, frankly, by the time Secretary Hegseth hands this memo to Trump, this is how you implement it. We need this, that, this, that, this, that, this, that. We already know most of those things. We know all the players involved. So by the time he hands this memo to Trump, it's going to leak everywhere. It's going to be on the front page of the Wall Street Journal in 2 days. You want to be in these things before it's on the front page of the Wall Street Journal, before it's leaked to the press. And fortunately for us, defense is a specialty of ours. As you can tell, I get very excited about this stuff. So this is what we're going to be talking about tomorrow, and I hope you join us. I think it's special, a very special opportunity, a truly once-in-a-generation opportunity. How many times do we build Iron Dome-sized defenses for the entire country? And it's just mind-boggling, really. It's going to be a $2.5 trillion project. It's going to make a lot of people very rich, and a lot of the world's greatest investors, starting with Buffett and Feinberg and all these guys who understand this, have already positioned themselves in stocks early to take advantage of this. I hope you join them. I hope you join us. I'll see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock.